Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Record-breaking six-time Tony Award winner Audra McDonald performs live with the National Symphony Orchestra at the Kennedy Center next week for two shows on January 30th and 31st in D.C. She joined me to break down all six of her Tony-winning roles on Broadway, as well as her acclaimed TV role in HBO's The Gilded Age and her recent movie work in Rustin and Origin. Hey, Audra McDonald. Hey, thank you so much for joining us on WTOP in Washington, D.C.
Hey, Jason. It's nice to be here.
We're talking because you are coming to the Kennedy Center Concert Hall with the NSO for a very special 2 nights of shows. It's going to be Tuesday, January 30th at 8 p.m. and then Wednesday, January 31st at 8 p.m. So let's tease this specific event. I have so much to ask you about your career, but let's talk about this. Let's start with this event. You know, what all sort of stuff are you going to be performing there with the NSO?
It's going to be sort of a journey through the Great American Musical Theater Songbook. We'll be singing songs by Gershwin and Sondheim, and let's see, who else? I'll be doing some songs by Jerome Kern, and just the greats, the old greats of Broadway.
I love it. And just to piggyback off of that, just a follow-up question, you know, just if people have seen you live or even on screen, talk about how this is going to be extra epic to have the entire National Symphony Orchestra behind you. If they've never seen you perform with an orchestra behind you, look out.
Oh, yeah, I'm so excited about it. Jason, I toured throughout the country and, lots of spots in the world with different sort of complements of musicians all the time, sometimes with a trio, sometimes with just a piano. And every once in a while, I'm very lucky to be able to perform with an orchestra. And there is nothing like the thrill, for me anyway, being on stage with that incredible sort of tsunami of sound coming from, anywhere from 40 to 60 instruments supporting you and joining with you and making incredible music. So to have the NSO there, which is just one of the greatest orchestras in this country, is such a joy. And my incredible music director, Andy Einhorn, is going to be conducting them. And it just enhances the evening so much. So and also being at, the iconic Kennedy Center, it just makes it all a very, very, very special evening. So I'm very excited.
I love that. A tsunami of sound. Thanks for a money soundbite with this. That's great. And real quick, when was the last time you played the Kennedy Center? They had to have invited you to one of the Kennedy Center honors to give tribute to somebody at some point, right?
Oh, yeah. I've been there a lot. I think the last time I performed at the Kennedy Center honors was for Michael Tilson Thomas. That's the last time I was there. I think that was pre-pandemic. It was right before, I think, the pandemic. But yes. I've there for Ruby Dee and Ossie Davis's Kennedy Center honors. I was there for Barbara Cook's Kennedy Center honor. I was there for Julie Andrews' Kennedy Center honor. So I've been there quite a few times. I'm very, it's such an iconic place. And I did the play Masterclass at the Kennedy Center way back in the 90s. So yeah, for me, it's always a joy to come back there.
Awesome. Yes, the Michael Tilson Thomas. I remember covering that one. I believe it was 2019, so it would have been the last one right before the pandemic. But this is your grand return.
Yes.
After the pandemic. And also DC also has a special place in your heart because President Obama gave you the National Medal of Arts in 2015-ish, I think, right? Like how big of an honor was that I assume that was at the White House, but man, talk about an all-time moment that, when decades from now, you're going to look back when you got that from the president. I mean, that's all-timer stuff.
Yeah, it was exciting. It was very exciting. What was most exciting about it is it was the National Medal of Honor for 2015, but it was awarded in 2016 because I was like 2 weeks away from giving birth. So I was hugely pregnant at the White House, and I was worried about because I had what they called a geriatric pregnancy because I was 46 at the time, and I asked them, well, what if I go into labor? And they're like, this is the White House. We have some of the best doctors ever here. So if you go into labor, don't worry. And then I was like, well, maybe I should try and go into labor. So that'd be a hell of a story, I gave birth at the White House.
Probably of all places, they probably would have the best doctors to do it. But I don't think your Berry Gordy and Mel Brooks and Morgan Freeman, some of the fellow nominees, I don't think that was a problem for them that year.
I was the only one in that position.
Pregnant Mel Brooks. No, but that's awesome. I mean, that's all-timer stuff. Well, I wanted to hit some of those DC, nation's capital highlights first, but now I've set the stage your origin story of like where did you actually grow up? I know you were born in West Germany.
I was born in Berlin, Germany, yes, but I was raised in Fresno, California.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Was it like an army base thing or something?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
I was born in an Army base.
Okay, but you grew up in Fresno and got into
Yes,
theater arts and all that, and then Juilliard is what set it off and running. Okay.
yes.
Gotcha. All right. If you don't mind, you have so many big fans. I'd love to go through, some of your big career highlights. And gosh, you've won 6 Tonys. So I mean, gosh, we'd be here all day if we hit them all. But how about I'm gonna rapid fire it real quick. I'll throw them out in order and just give me like a one sentence, whatever quick, because I'm gonna try to go through them quick. So you won your first one for Carousel in '94. Just memories of that big first, that put you on the map.
Just something that will never ever leave my heart, and just the beginnings, and also that Lincoln Center where Carousel was basically my campus because I had gone to Juilliard, so it was like school on steroids. All of a sudden, I was in a Broadway show.
I love it. And your second one was, while that first one was a musical, Carousel, the second one was for a featured actress in a play, so a non-musical, but masterclass, like you mentioned in '96. So what was it like that? You got to show you could do it again, and this time, in a play without singing.
Yeah, but the great thing about Masterclass was written by the incredible Terrence McNally, and I was playing a Juilliard student. So it's something I knew a lot about, and it was a chance for me to work with not only Terrence McNally and get to know him. He become a very dear friend in my life, and I worked with him many times after that, but also to get to know and work with Zoe Caldwell, who would become such a force in my life that I ended up naming my first child after.
Oh, I love it. So the third Tony win was for Ragtime, an iconic show in '98. Memories of that real quick.
Yeah, just being a part of building a show from beginnings of watching that show come together and working with that incredible cast, and just the being with the iconic Brian Stokes Mitchell on a nightly basis, and every single time we sing Wheels of a Dream, from that first time we sang it together until as recently as the 25th anniversary reunion concert that we did in March. I always feel like I'm basically flying into space whenever I sing that song. So.
Great description. All right, and then the fourth came in 2004 for A Raisin in the Sun. You mentioned that you had paid tribute to Ruby Dee, at the Kennedy Center earlier in this interview. But what was it like getting to, to be that iconic Lorraine Hansberry play? I mean, that is all-timer stuff. You probably grew up watching Ruby Dee and Poitier and everyone in the older versions. But what was it like getting to step in that yourself?
Oh, it was incredible, and being able to work with an incredible director like Kenny Leon, and then being in an incredible cast that featured Felicia Rashad and Sanaa Lathan. Was just, I learned so much from being with them on a nightly basis and saying Lorraine Hansberry's iconic words. Was, talk about, core memory. I'll never forget that experience.
Core memory, absolutely. All right, number 5, Tony win for. See, most people, they'd be done. We'd be like, our interview's over. That's four Tonys. That's plenty. But you kept them going. Number 5, Porgy and Bess in 2012. Another iconic, Gershwin, all the rest. But yeah, memories of that.
Yeah, being a part of Porgy and Bess is just, I mean, it's I keep saying iconic, but it's a legendary opera or musical, whichever people want to categorize it as. It was just. To be able to be a part of that, coming back to Broadway, and being able to sing those glorious songs night after night, and to be able to dive in and sort of find who Bess was in my heart, was something that meant a great deal to me. So I was honored to give it.
Absolutely. And rounding it out, the number 6 was the Billie Holiday jukebox musical, Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill. You won Best Actress in a Play for that. That was the 6th one. Were you always a Billie Holiday fan before the role? And was it exciting to get to step in those iconic shoes? Iconic again. There's it is. Iconic.
Yeah, I had always been a fan of Billie Holiday, but I think I was a bit of an uneducated fan. I adored her artistry, but I think what little I knew about her life, I think I was a bit judgmental because I knew she had this horrible drug addiction. And so once I got the chance to play her and really, really excavate and understand and explore and study her life and speak to people who knew her, and read every book I could about her, listen to every interview and not just the interviews of her talking about her singing, but like the behind the scenes tapes of her not even realizing she's being, recorded and speaking from her heart. So I ended up falling in love with her and ashamed of the fact that I had a little bit of judgment toward her before playing her, just because I didn't know about her struggle.
Yeah, well, an experience for sure. Learning even more about an icon. I believe. All right, well, that's all 6. I believe. Is that a record? I think you might have the most of, at least for an actor, I believe. Or
Yeah,
where
yeah,
does Angela Lansbury? Did you break her record?
yeah. I have the most. Yes, I have the most. Angela Lansbury was awarded one. It's like a lifetime.
Ah.
Given to her. But yes, yeah. So I think we're both at 6, but mine we're all competitive.
You're the 6 competitive ones, and I believe in 4 different categories, acting categories. I think you're like the only one to do that. So you have all the accolades. Well, thanks for running through all those really fast. I really appreciate it. But I love to give you the opportunity. Is there a performance like that, on Broadway that, it doesn't neatly fit into those 6 that probably everyone asks you about? Is there one sort of in between or that you've done even since then that you were like, you know what? That actually might be my personal one I'm proudest of, and it never got the attention.
Well, I just finished doing a play on Broadway at the end of 2002 into the beginning of 2003 called Ohio State Murders. And it was written by an incredible playwright named Adrienne Kennedy, who's a Black woman who that was her Broadway debut at the age, I think, of 93. Her play was finally on Broadway, but she's been a playwright, an active playwright, and Obie, I think she won an Obie, I'm not sure, but was certainly nominated for one, for 70 years. And that was her Broadway debut. So I was very proud to be a part of that. And it was a semi-autobiographical play about her life when she was I think in 1949 at Ohio State, she was one of the second classes that had Black people living in the dorms there. So she had really sort of helped to integrate the school in that way, but about her experience there and how it was not an easy time. So I was very proud of that and very proud to be a part of bringing Adrienne Kennedy's play to Broadway after 70 years of her sort of being ignored by Broadway.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. And then I guess sort of before we run, we should tease that, I mean, we're rattling off all these awards. You're going to be up for a SAG award in a couple weeks for, I guess, at least for the ensemble for your really popular TV show, HBO's The Gilded Age. I know you play Peggy's mom, Dorothy Scott. And actually, I believe Danae Benton is coming to DC as well. She's coming to the Kennedy Center for
she's Tick Tick Boom. Yep.
Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris directed Tick Tick Boom, by the way. So it's a big Gilded Age time, I guess, here at the Kennedy Center. But real quick, what's it like working with her and just the show in general? I mean, that thing is taken off.
Yes, I'm so proud of that show. I was so excited to be asked to be a part of it, and so I'm very proud of the nomination for the cast. It is an enormous cast, and it's a real theater-based cast. So I'm most of the people in the cast are really well known in the theatrical world, not necessarily so in film and television. Not all of us. Some of them all. Some obviously Cynthia Nixon and Christy Baranski are, and Carrie Coon is well known for her, the work that she's done as well. But most of the people in that cast are theater folks, and so I'm very proud to be a part of this project. And I'm just so thrilled that Sonia Warfield and Julian Fellows and Erica Dunbar really saw that these are Julian Fellows, of course, created it, and Sonia Warfield and Erica Dunbar, and Sally Richardson, for that matter, incredible executive producers who help sort of bring the story to life and really delve into not only the communities and cultures that we're used to seeing during that time, which is sort of to say the white history of what was going on in New York at that time. But I don't think I've ever in my life seen a television show or a movie that delves into what was happening with the Black middle class during the Gilded Age and the Black elite population and just the Black experience in general in the North during that time. And so I'm so thrilled to be a part of being able to bring and excavate that history and bring it to television audiences. It's not only for entertainment, but to educate. So I'm really thrilled to be a part of that. And Peggy's relationship, it's a true mother-daughter bond, and I just love Danae working with her. It's been a joy.
Yeah, well, you've also excavated history in two big movies this year. Rustin, of course, and as of this recording, the day that Coleman Domingo got Oscar nominated, so that's awesome. And also Ava DuVernay's Origin, which sadly was snubbed, but I thought, man, that might be Ava's magnum opus. That was an amazing movie. So yeah, you can do it on the big screen. Any closing thoughts on getting to act in, because we've talked a lot about your TV shows and your Broadway work, but man, those are two big movies this year you're in as well.
Yeah, no, I just to be a part of storytelling, that is telling stories from different vantage points of different people, and not necessarily just the typical stories we're used to, especially with Origin. I thought what Ava DuVernay did with adapting Isabel Wilkerson's incredible book Cast and her incredible thesis about the roots of where all this discontent comes from, for Ava DuVernay to sort of turn it into this a moving sort of story with Isabel at the center, with Isabel Wilkerson at the center, and turn it into a drama in the way that she did, and then was so brilliantly portrayed by Angela Ellis. I was so excited to be a part of that and to watch these women work, and watch, be on a set with Ava DuVernay and see how beautifully she treats everybody in the cast and the crew. It's a very, everybody is considered equal, and it was an incredible experience to be a part of that. And then also to be a part of Rustin, to watch Coleman. I've known him for years, to watch him do his brilliant work, and I've been a fan of his for years, and to work again with George C. Wolfe, who's directed me before, and also to tell this story of Bayard Rustin, who was sort of relegated to the sidelines because he was an openly gay Black man and was considered a liability during that time. And so he really was one of the main orchestrators and organizers of that incredible march in Washington, D.C. In 1963. So to be able to give Bayard Rustin his flowers and really finally shine a light on this incredible human being and what he was able to accomplish, and how much credit he deserves for what happened on that incredible day. So to be a part of both of those films this year has just been incredibly fulfilling for me.
Oh yeah, Rustin, so happy for Coleman to get Oscar nominated. That was highlighting, like you say, a hidden figure getting his flowers of history of the civil rights movement. And then Origin, I mean, it wasn't an easy task to tie together, Trayvon Martin, Jews during the Holocaust in Germany, the Dalits in India, the American civil rights movement and slavery. Like to be able to try to tie all of them is so ambitious. But I thought she pulled it off. I was on the wavelength that entire movie of Origin. Everybody go check Audra out in that.
Origin's incredible. And my part in it is there's lots of different sort of anecdotes and stories that Isabel is weaving together and telling and discovering, and the anthropologist in her is really trying to unearth all of this and understand and create this thesis. And when I watched the whole film, I have never been so emotionally affected by a film in my life. Where I couldn't breathe afterwards. I was so moved by what I saw. I mean, I have my own little part in it, but the incredible work that was done on that screen, that just moved me. I couldn't speak for a while afterwards. And that's a lot of the experience I've heard from a lot of my friends and family who come to gone and seen the film Origin. And it really, really starts a conversation that I think is so necessary in this country right now. So I encourage everybody to go out.
Oh, everybody go see it. It just can't, who cares if it didn't get nominated? Everyone go see it. It's brand new in theaters. Just came out Friday, January 19th, at least here in DC. So it's fresh out in theaters. Everyone must see. Well, thank you so much for all your time. And final seconds. What do we have to, we mentioned all your Tonys. What do we have to do to make you an EGOT because you got the 2 Grammys for Rise and Fall of the City Mahogany. You got the Emmy for that TV special Sweeney Todd Live from Lincoln Center. We mentioned your 6 Tony wins on Broadway, but we're just missing that O. And O could have stand for Origin, but no, it could be in Rustin, no. But one day the movie will come along to get it. What would be that dream movie for the O in the EGOT?
I don't know what it would be, but I mean, as long as it's a story that I believe in and that's worth being told, that sheds a light on humanity in some way, shape, or form, which is what cinema does for all of us, no matter what that is. Then it'll be worth it. So I'll just continue to look for good work to do, and then if some of it ends up being awarded, that's awesome. But you know what? Yeah. What's more important is that the work gets out there.
Exactly. You do it for the creativity, not the awards. So for now, you'll have to stay in EGG 6T. You're not an EGOT, but a EGG. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone, check out Audra McDonald live at the Kennedy Center on January 30th and 31st with the NSO. Gonna be epic. Thank you so much for we covered a lot of ground in a short amount of time. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Jason. It was nice speaking with you.
Thanks so much for listening to Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Our theme music is Scott Buckley's Clarion. Remember to give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time.